The true story of the Hollow Earth theory. First, a crucial point of clarity. The Hollow Earth theory is not a single, unified idea, but a spectrum of related concepts that have evolved over centuries. It is considered pseudoscience and has been thoroughly debunked by modern geology and physics. There is no scientific evidence to support a hollow Earth. Seismic readings confirm it is made of solid layers surrounding a dense, primarily iron-nickel core. However, its story is a fascinating chapter in the history of ideas, blending early scientific inquiry, mythology, and outright fiction. The proposer, Edmund Halley, 1656–1742, the theory in its first scientific form was indeed proposed by the renowned English astronomer, geophysicist, and mathematician Edmund Halley, of Halley's Comet fame. When 1692, where, before the prestigious Royal Society of London. Publication. His ideas were detailed in a paper published in the Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society. Halley's theory, a scientific for its time. Proposal. It's vital to understand that Halley wasn't a crackpot. He was a brilliant scientist trying to explain anomalous real-world data with the best tools available to him. His theory was a legitimate, if incorrect, scientific hypothesis. The problem he was trying to solve. Halley was studying the Earth's magnetic field. Compass needles point north, but their direction varies slightly over time. Magnetic declination. Furthermore, the magnetic North Pole seemed to wander. The cause of Earth's magnetism was a complete mystery in the 17th century. His hollow Earth model. To explain the strange magnetic readings, Halley proposed a revolutionary model. A hollow shell. The Earth, he suggested, was a shell about 500 miles thick. Inner spheres. Inside this shell were two concentric inner spheres, one inside the other like a nested Russian doll. Atmosphere and life. Each of these spheres and the space between them had its own atmosphere. He speculated that the interior was luminous and that the atmospheres might separate, allowing the inner spheres to support life. Magnetic explanation. Halley proposed that each of these inner spheres rotated independently at slightly different speeds. He believed they were magnetic, and that their relative movements generated the Earth's complex and shifting magnetic field. This was an ingenious attempt to explain the data. Supporting evidence. Halley pointed to the aurora borealis, northern lights, suggesting they were caused by the escape of this luminous gas from the Earth's interior through thin sections of the crust at the poles. Halley's theory was a serious attempt to solve a real scientific puzzle. It was not about secret civilizations or openings at the poles, those came later. The evolution of the idea, after Halley. The theory was picked up and transformed by later thinkers, often moving further from science and into the realms of speculation, fantasy, and conspiracy. On Leonhard Euler, 18th century. The prolific Swiss mathematician replaced Halley's concentric spheres with a new idea. A single central sun about 600 miles wide that illuminated and warmed the inner world, making it habitable. This version became a staple of later Hollow Earth fiction. Joyce and John Cleves Sims, early 19th century. An American Army officer, Sims became the theory's most fervent evangelist. In 1818, he issued a circular declaring to the world that the Earth was hollow and habitable within. He proposed massive openings at both the North and South Poles, which became known as Sims holes. He lobbied the U.S. Congress to fund an expedition to the North Pole to find the entrance. His campaign captured the public's imagination, and Sims's holes became a central feature of the myth for over a century. From polar obsession and proof, the unexplored polar regions became the perfect canvas for these fantasies. Maps from the 19th and early 20th centuries sometimes depicted the theoretical openings. When Admiral Richard Byrd flew over the North Pole in 1926 and the South Pole in 1929, Hollow Earth believers claimed he actually flew into the openings. They latched onto his poetic diary entries about a land beyond the pole, referring to the unexplored Antarctic continent, as proof of his entry into the inner world. For the Nazi connection. A particularly strange chapter involves the Nazis. Some members of the Thule Society, an occult-influenced group connected to the early Nazi Party, allegedly believed in a Hyperborean master race originating from within the Earth. While the extent of Hitler's personal belief is debated, It's true that the Nazis sent an expedition to the Baltic island of Rügen in 1938 to point cameras skyward to try and capture images of the British fleet reflected off the inner sun. A bizarre and failed experiment based on the Hollow Earth concept, the theory in fiction and modern culture. The Hollow Earth's true legacy lies in its power as a narrative device. Jules Verne's Journey to the Center of the Earth, 1864. The most famous fictionalization depicting a vast inner world with oceans, dinosaurs, and giant mushrooms. Edgar Rice Burroughs' Pellucidar series, beginning with At the Earth's Core, 1914. It featured a permanent inner sun and a world frozen in a primitive state. Modern media. The concept remains popular in movies, TV shows, e.g., Godzilla vs. Kong, comic books, and video games, where it serves as a setting for lost worlds and ancient creatures. Why the theory is debunked. Modern science has completely invalidated the Hollow Earth concept. Seismology, earthquake waves, seismic waves, travel through the Earth. Their paths and speeds reveal its internal structure. They reflect and refract off boundaries between solid and liquid layers, the mantle, outer core, inner core, a phenomenon impossible in a hollow sphere. Gravity. The mass and density of the Earth calculate to a specific gravitational pull. A hollow Earth would have far less mass, resulting in significantly weaker gravity. We would all weigh much less, and the Moon's orbit would be dramatically different. Geology. Our understanding of planetary formation shows that planets form through accretion, material clumping together and compressing under its own gravity, creating dense, layered spheres. A hollow planet is not a stable or possible configuration. The true story of the Hollow Earth theory is not one of a hidden reality, but a story of human imagination. It began as a serious scientific hypothesis by Edmund Halley in 1692 to explain magnetism. It was then adopted and expanded by enthusiasts like Sims into a geographical speculation. Finally, it was immortalized by fiction writers and has settled into its modern role as a powerful and enduring myth, representing humanity's eternal desire to explore the last unknown frontiers.